Thank you for spending these moments with Rise and Rest. Carry this message with you, share it with someone who may need it, and remember, rise with purpose, rest with hope. Good morning. Before you rush into today, before you think about everything you need to accomplish or everything you still haven't figured out, remember this. You do not need to have every answer this morning. You don't need to know exactly where your life will be 6 months from now. You don't need to understand how every problem will be solved. And you don't need your entire journey mapped out before taking your next step. Sometimes, all you need is enough courage to begin. Maybe something in your life feels uncertain right now. Maybe you're trying to make an important decision. Maybe you're building something and wondering if it will succeed. Maybe you're chasing a dream, but the road ahead still feels unclear. That's okay. Life rarely gives us the entire map before the journey begins. Most of the time, we discover the road by walking it. Think about how many important moments in your life began without certainty. You learned because you tried. You grew because you experienced. You became stronger because you faced situations you weren't completely prepared for. And somehow, step by step, you found your way. Today can be the same. You don't need perfect clarity before moving forward. Sometimes clarity comes because you move forward. One conversation can reveal something you didn't know. One decision can open a door you couldn't see. One small action can create an opportunity you never expected. But those things cannot happen if you remain frozen, waiting for everything to make perfect sense. So give yourself permission to move without knowing everything. Take the next reasonable step. Make the phone call. Write the first sentence. Start the application. Learn the new skill. Return to the dream you've been postponing. Whatever your next step is, take it. It doesn't have to be impressive. It simply has to move you forward. Small progress is still progress. We sometimes underestimate the power of ordinary days because we imagine changing our lives requires one enormous moment. But meaningful transformation usually happens quietly. One morning you choose discipline instead of another excuse. One afternoon you decide to try again. One evening you realize you handled something better than you would have months ago. Those moments may seem small when they happen, but small moments repeated over time can completely change the direction of your life. So don't measure today's value only by how much you accomplish. Ask yourself one question. Did I move forward? Even one step matters. And if you're uncertain about your future, remember this. Uncertainty does not mean you're failing. Not knowing exactly what comes next does not mean you're lost. Sometimes uncertainty simply means you're standing somewhere you've never stood before. You're entering a new chapter, you're learning, you're stretching beyond what is familiar, you're becoming. Growth can feel uncomfortable because the person you're becoming has never lived this part of your story before. Give yourself room to learn, give yourself room to make adjustments, give yourself permission to change direction when you discover something better. You are allowed to grow as you go. You are allowed to begin with one plan and improve it tomorrow. You are allowed to make mistakes without turning those mistakes into a judgment about your entire life. You are allowed to be a work in progress. Every person you admire once stood at the beginning of something they didn't fully understand. They didn't know every obstacle ahead. They didn't know every answer. They couldn't guarantee the outcome. They simply kept taking the next step. And you can do the same. Trust yourself a little more today. Not because you know everything, but because you've already survived days you didn't know how you would get through. You've solved problems that once seemed overwhelming. You've learned things that once felt impossible. You've grown in ways your younger self could never have predicted. There is evidence in your own life that you can learn your way forward. So this morning, release the pressure to have everything figured out. You don't need the whole map. You only need enough courage for the next step. When you reach that step, look again. There will be another, and another. Slowly, what once looked like uncertainty will become a road you've traveled, a story you've lived, and a strength you've earned. Perhaps one day you'll look back at this season and realize something beautiful. You were never supposed to know everything from the beginning. You were supposed to discover who you were along the way. So rise this morning with patience. Rise with curiosity. Rise with courage. Take today's step. Let tomorrow reveal tomorrow. And wherever this day takes you, remember, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep moving. Rise with purpose, and when the day is done, rest with hope. This is Rise and Rest. Welcome to Rise and Rest, where every morning brings new purpose and every night brings renewed hope. Here is today's message.